we're here in Clifton Road in Ballyfermot, and we're sitting with a lovely lady called Aileen Murray. And Aileen came here in, I think she said 1962, was it?
62.
62, and you settled here, and you lived in a few other places around before you eventually came here. We talk about them in a second, but just introducing you first. And Aileen is going to be talking to us today, and she has lots of things to speak about. We're going to be talking about the late Frank Duff and many other funny things that happened to her in her life. So we'll begin the interview, and it's thank you so much for inviting us into your home.
More than welcome.
Aileen. And Anna's here as well, her daughter. Anna's going to give us a dig out. She'll throw some questions at us, or maybe be able to answer some questions for us. And thanks, Anne, again for inviting us around. So you came here in 1962.
Yes.
And how many children had you then?
I had 2 when I came to Ballyfermot, I think, yeah, and then I had 3, had I? 2, and then when I was on my Cullen Road, I had 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. Mm-hmm. And before I moved down to this house, which I've been here for almost 61 years.
Oh my God, that's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, what was it like in those days in 1962 when you moved? Can you remember what the scheme was like in the shops and what we had at the time?
Well, I remember before I was married cycling up here with my husband-to-be, and we came as far as Grange Cross, and after that it was fields.
It was all country, yeah.
It was country. And then eventually, when we were together then, we were going out together for about 4 years. It was 4 years before we got married, and got married in the 3rd of July 1957.
Wow.
And from that on, we went out to live in Enniskerry. Then from Enniskerry, we were living in Rathgar, in a room, which we were lucky, I suppose, to have.
Yeah.
And from that then, we went back, stayed with my mother in Galtimore Road in Drimna. And then we got married. We had already been married, and we then moved up to Ballyfermot from Galtimore Road.
So you were around quite a bit before you came to Ballier. My God, to me. And in those days, I know your children, obviously they went to the local school, and the church would have been built in those days, because that was built earlier.
Only the big church.
The big church. There was no Matthews there.
There was no St. Matthews, no.
And the other church that they have up in Cherry Arches, that wasn't there either.
That wasn't even.
The scheme wasn't even built.
That was all fields up the top of this road. Were all fields.
That was the backfields, you used to call them. Yeah, the backers.
Going right up, I think, to the canal or something.
That's right, yeah. We went all the way up that way.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so you're married and you have loads of children.
I don't think loads, only 5.
You've got 5 lovely children. And of course they're all grown up now. And what did your husband do? What was your husband's name?
Camillus.
Oh, Camillus. Con, he called him,
yeah. He was called several names. Yeah. He had Con, Billy. Different people called him different names.
Okay, and what did he work at?
He was a painter and decorator.
Yeah.
So, all his life.
So, in those days, was there lots of work for him?
No, in the beginning, when we got married, he just came out of his time. And back in those days, in 56, 57, all around that time, you had to leave. If you were an apprentice and you worked, did your time, then you had to leave your job. You were let go from your job, and you'd no job.
Yeah, well, you served your time, and it was a bit silly, wasn't it?
It was a bit silly. Just like when I got married, I wasn't allowed back to work either.
Yeah.
I had to sell my stamps, as they call them then, back to the...
Yeah. It's all changed around today now.
It's all changed, but he... well, shortly after then, he got a job.
Good.
You know.
So as the years were going by, so they were still back in the 60s there, maybe just coming into the early 70s. Tell me about what's your connection with St. Dominican's Convent? What happened there? How did you get yourself in there?
Well, it was Caritas, the school down in Drumfin, was where the eldest lad went, and I had their other names for Mary and Dolores to go down to Caritas. But Caritas, or it wasn't called Caritas, it was the primary school. Louise's. Yeah. And Louise's had their certs for quite a while. And the next thing I got word up from Louise's to say they wouldn't have any room, and they had sent their certs down to the Dominican primary. So that's how I ended up being involved with the Dominicans.
Yeah.
And then Mary and Dolores, they went to the Dominican primary school first. And of course I'm up and down to the school, and that's how I got involved in doing voluntary work. And I did mostly voluntary work in what is now the resource centre. It was the school for little boys, starting. And I went down there I was sent for to help out every September. And for the whole month of September, I would be in a classroom with the teacher to help the little boys settle down.
Lovely, great,
Yeah.
God, you don't see anything like that today, do you?
And I also did Santa Claus in that school.
Yeah, amazing.
Dressed up as Santa Claus and went round with a sack on my back.
Fair pleasure. Now, we know where she's getting all the money from now.
And it was the nun that was head nun, Sister Melchior, as she was then. She's gone now. Sister Patsy Coogan, she asked me about taking the job in the secondary school. So I went to the secondary school, and I said, well, I'll do it till they get somebody, because I wasn't I wasn't looking for work.
Yeah.
And I said, I will do it while you're waiting, but I'd be still waiting, I'm afraid.
Well, how long did you stay there?
I stayed from 1972 up to 1986.
That was a long time.
Cleaning that school, and came out of it and was out of it for a year, when I got a phone call one day, and I was back the next morning as tea lady. And I worked as tea lady up to 2006.
Oh, that was
when
a good long
I finished
spell.
there.
Yeah. And Jenny McTonight, that was an amazing journey. You must have seen so many things happen, and so many people. Different things.
A lot of them, most of them have retired now. From when I went there first, most of them are retired. But we had a reunion there a few weeks ago, and I was down there and got to meet a lot of them again.
Lovely.
But a lot of them now, they all came when I was 80, and I had a party in the Ballyfermot Club, and every one of those teachers came to that party. Principal and every teacher in the school came. They came from everywhere.
Wasn't that amazing? Great tribute for you.
They came from everywhere.
Yeah, because for the few people I've been talking to you about you, are telling me that you were a very, very lovely lady, and you still are, and that's why you were so much liked around. Because to stay that long to work with the school, and first of all to do it voluntary first, you were a while doing voluntary before you decided to take on the work. And then to go along and look after the kids and do Santa Claus for them and things like that.
You did.
That must have been amazing. Yeah. You must have got great crack out of that.
I did.
You see the little kids coming and Santa coming to them.
I mean, they were only little boys of what? 5 and 6 years of age.
yeah, and it was a great treat for them.
That was.
Yeah, of course it was. Some of them, because in those days, I suppose there wouldn't have been a lot of work in the early 60s, because I know through my own father there'd be no work and they'd be off, and a lot of the men would be. There'd be no work. It was just when a lot of them went away to England, didn't they?
They did.
I think my own father went away during the war.
Yes.
You know,
although they came back, you know.
Yeah. So looking at Ballyfermot now, we're jumping out of school for a minute. When you were here in 1962, you say you were working down St. Dominican's Convent and that, and St. Louise's before that. What changes do you see now? Well, like when you look down here, you have a beautiful civic centre. We hadn't got that back in the day.
No,
we had a now broken down hall.
But
remember?
The unfortunate thing about the civic centre, we had a community centre before that. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
We had that community centre, which we did a lot of things in, and we run a bingo in it because I called bingo numbers over there.
Lovely, yeah.
And they took that away to build a civic centre, and we were supposed to still get the use of the civic centre, which we never got. I mean, I'm going back then in the days when they built the old community centre, and we had street committees. I walked the length of this road collecting a shilling from a house, a shilling at every house, you know. And we took the committee would take the children out. We'd hire a bus from CIE as it was then, and we'd take the children off to Portmarnock.
For the day, great. Yeah.
And we had a few neighbours, even neighbours that had who were older and their children were grown up, but they still came and looked after the children.
Right.
From the road.
Yeah, it was a great community spirit, wasn't it?
There was, very much so. Yeah.
Because I remember one time myself, Aileen, now it must have been in the 70s. I remember President Childress came here. Will you hear that day he came? Him and his wife came.
I don't remember
and it was the old community centre. I think it was on the opening day of it.
Oh yes, I recall. Yeah.
He made a quick visit, him and his wife. And I think we have photographs in the heritage of it now. We must have a peep at them. We see you in any of them. You don't have any of them, no?
I don't have.
We'll have a peep at
it. Video of it.
She has
because,
one, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody has a recording of it. That sticks out in my mind about that place. But it was a great centre, and then we moved on from there.
It was a great thing then, and I remember when the papal nuncio came to Ballyfermot first. We only had, it was the big church we had there. Back in the day, and at that time Dominican nuns weren't allowed outside the walls of the
convent
school. No, they weren't allowed out. The wall at the primary school, they could come as far as the wall.
So you could stand at the wall.
They weren't
allowed out.
Although that all changed eventually.
It's all changed now.
Yeah, changed.
Now the papal nuncio. What I remember, well, I wouldn't remember because why am I getting 1932 in my head? I wouldn't be back that far. That was something else.
That was the year before I was born.
That's what I'm talking about. The Eucharistic Congress it was.
Eucharistic Congress,
I don't remember the papal nuncio in Ballyfermot, but anyway, it happened.
Oh, he did. He came to the big church.
And did he say mass there and all that?
Well, I can't recall now what happened. I just remember all the excitement and everybody had banners out and flags flying everywhere.
Somebody important was coming to the scheme,
Yeah.
And then you look around and do you remember the May processions and all those the little girls dressed up with their communion things on view?
The processions, and we used to go down to the Oblates Church for that as well.
Down in Inchicore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was famous for the little processions down there. I've seen some on YouTube there only last week. So you're looking well and you're healthy as anything.
Well, so far.
So far so good. Did you drink at all during your life? Did you smoke anything like that? No.
I I was a pioneer till well into my marriage.
Yeah.
And then eventually I did take a drink, but drink just doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't appeal to me at all.
Some people don't.
I wouldn't take a drink now at all.
No.
No.
Oh, there you go. Tell me a little bit about the connection with your family. It's probably your father's side of the family and Frank Duff.
No, my husband's.
Your husband's
side of the family. My husband was born in the Myra house in Francis Street.
Okay.
His father was caretaker, and Frank Duff was a regular in the family home there, because they lived up the top of the house, and they had to caretake that till eventually they moved to Drimnagh. But their father was still the caretaker of the Myra house, and they had to go up and down to Francis Street.
No, just for a second, just let me stop you for a minute. Just to people that's listening to the video, tell them what the Myra house was and what they done in there. Well, why was it called the Myra house?
The Myra house was for the Legion of Mary, and Frank Duff was what would I say, he started up the Legion of Mary.
Okay, like the founder. Yeah.
He was the founder of the Legion of Mary, you know. And then my husband's father was involved in a lot of that like kind of thing, and he is also involved in helping to bring the Chameleon Order to Ireland.
Okay.
And finding them a place in Killucan in County Westmeath, which I visited many times, and that's where my husband got his name from.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The Chameleon Order.
Yeah, the Chameleon. Yeah,
and they were involved.
It's an amazing story about Frank Duff, because I was talking to Anne on the phone here a while back, and last week or whatever it was, and we were talking. She was telling me about Frank Duff and the connection with your family, and I said, my God, that's amazing, because Frank Duff, I suppose he would be well known all over the world, wouldn't he?
All over the world
with the Legion of Mary, because he actually brought her everywhere. He brought us from America, he brought her all over.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Legion of Mary everywhere now. Is that Myra house still there? Is it gone? Or
the Myra house is still there.
Still there, yeah.
But I think it's more a museum.
Okay. Yeah.
Or something. You can go.
You have to make an appointment.
You have to make an appointment and go and visit the Myra house now.
Yeah.
You know.
No, it's a place that we as the Heritage Group, we often take little fits and we go around and we visit places, and we might put it on our list, go down and have a peep at it and see.
I remember as a child going to the Myra house to a Christmas party.
Okay.
Because they used to run Christmas parties for the poorer children of Dublin, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember going to a Christmas party there. So, as a child.
Yeah, so you've great memories down that end, around the Liberties as well.
Ah, yes, yeah. Well, I made my first communion in Francis Street Church.
All right.
Because my mother and father lived in Scotland for 10 years. And when we came back to Ireland, when war broke out in 1939, and I went to Wardenmount Convent School. When we came back, that's where I went to school first, and that's how I made my communion in Francis Street.
All right. And where's Wardenmount School?
Is it around the Black Pits area?
Yeah. I've never heard of that name before.
Did you not? Wardenmount? Yeah.
No, I've never heard of it.
That was my first school in Ireland.
Yeah.
Now, I had started school in Scotland, but only just, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we came here, and Wardenmount was my first school.
Oh.
And from that I went to St. Louis in Rathmines, because we lived on the Rathmines Road after we had come back to Ireland.
All right, yeah.
We lived on 2 rooms on the Rathmines Road.
God, you lived in some places, didn't you, when you look around?
So,
all very posh places as well.
Well, when we first came back, my grandmother had lived in Rathgar.
No, another posh place.
I had a communion photograph taken there, but
yeah.
Well, it was my mother's mother, and because of war, when the war broke out,
okay,
we came back. Like, we had nowhere, you know. They had to sell up everything in Scotland and come back here. And then from my grandmother's, we got the 2 rooms on the Rathmines Road.
Yeah, my God. That must have been amazing, because as you say, it was very hard to get a room even in those days, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why you started out, so it was kind of tough in those days.
It was very hard.
And
the table that came back from Scotland.
Oh, the table. Tell me about the story about the table.
Oh, the table.
Yeah.
There was an auctioneer's shop. We, on the Rathmines, it's all gone now because they opened that Swan Centre.
Yeah,
they knocked everything down.
Yeah.
They would have knocked down the big house that we were living in, but you went up a walkway up to the house, but out on the main Rathmines Road where all the shops were, and right at the corner of from where we lived was a furniture shop. And my mother came out one day, and there was this lovely big table outside the shop, and she opened the drawer and found a little card which had been like from a Christmas present or something from a friend of hers in the drawer, and that was her table, because when she saw the table she thought it looked very like her table, and she happened to open the drawer and there was a little card inside, and she knew it was hers.
Oh my God.
Came all the way from Scotland.
And it had come from Scotland.
Yeah.
Because we had to sell it, they had to sell up everything.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know.
And she got it back in the end.
No, she didn't get
it back.
No. We couldn't afford it in those days.
Yeah. My God, that's
you
amazing.
couldn't afford those things then.
That's goes all right. We're looking here, Sean, for some reason, because Aileen is after telling us that she met this fella here, our president, Mr. Higgins. Tell me what happened. How did you come to meet Mr. President of Ireland, and where did you meet him?
I met him down in Richmond Park, and we were both at a football match down there, which I regularly would have gone to then, but as I got older, I haven't been going down as much.
Well,
with the weather being bad, I don't go down in winter time.
Oh God!
You know.
So,
and President O'Higgins is a great supporter and fan of St. Pat's in Richmond Park, and he would go to the matches, and we met over a cup of tea down in the big house there.
Very nice indeed.
So,
my God, tonight there's something that now you wouldn't make her up, sure you wouldn't, because meeting the president down at a football match in St. Pat's, that's unbelievable. She's a gas woman. I heard you met loads of snooker players as well.
I've met plenty of the snooker players out in Goffs in Kildare.
And what, are you a snooker follower as well?
I was, yeah. I used to follow a lot of
it. And who, Alex Higgins and all those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to follow them all, and went down to the see the tournaments down in Goffs in Kildare.
In Goffs, yeah, it's a big place.
Well, I go with my daughter and granddaughter, and then my son and son-in-law were involved in the security.
Oh, right,
yeah, they were. So we'd have
and you actually meet them, speak to them?
Well, I was brought into the... I been the lucky one because they worked there. I was brought into the room where they just had the snooker players.
Oh, lovely.
You know, and meet them privately.
And how do you feel at meeting all these famous people? You're pretty lucky.
Well, it's just part of life.
You're unbelievable.
Just part of life. It doesn't really faze me on one way or the other. We're all people. We're all humans.
Of course we are.
And it doesn't matter whether you're up the top or down the bottom.
Yeah.
We're all the same.
Yeah, but it's not very rarely that you walk into someone's home and they have a photograph of ourselves and the president in our glass case.
Well,
sure. I mean, that doesn't happen like all the time. Fair play to you. That's amazing. We're going to move on a little bit further with something else. Just give me a minute. Now, we know you were in the school. You're just talking about the school. You're 34 years and we know you're 90 years of age and you're looking great for that. What's the plans now for... What's the recipe for old age? Because you look so well at 90. What do you?
Well,
what
you don't think of your age. You just age. That's only a number.
Okay.
That's only a number. It's how you treat life, and you get on with life. You don't sit back. I don't.
No.
I don't like to sit back, and I go away. Christmas COVID put an end to that, although I was away last Christmas.
Yeah.
I'll head off to Germany for Christmas and spend about 3 weeks there.
Beautiful.
My son...
And you have no problem flying around, no?
No, but of recent years I get a wheelchair.
Yeah, well that'll help you get on quicker and all that, yeah.
Yeah.
But you say you have no problem with the flying or anything,
I've no problem with the flying, no.
That's amazing, isn't it?
I've been going away for for 30 years, but now we used to go through the summer. When my husband was alive, we went over. We've gone maybe twice a year sometimes. But since he died, I've been going for Christmas and spending 3 weeks over there.
What part of Germany are you in?
In Munich.
In Munich, beautiful place. I'm just
back from Munich as well as I know Dublin.
Good. Yeah.
I could bring you over there tomorrow and bring you here, there and yonder, and I'd know where to go.
Not amazing.
And she goes to karaoke.
Yeah. Oh. Are you doing the karaoke as well?
Do you karaoke?
Sing, yeah?
By the rivers of Babylon.
Oh, well, sorry, that's a good one, all right. Well, do you know what I'm going to tell you? I'm not been away in Munich.
Go away.
I'm only back since last week, the week before. I went away for a week. I went over to see... I went to Italy. I went to see the Pope and I seen him. And I went to San Giovanni to see Padre Pio. I ended up back in Munich for 2 days before I came home. And I went to the oldest toy shop in Munich and I bought me a little grandchild, a little motorbike with a policeman on it.
Yeah?
Yeah, Munich's beautiful, isn't it?
In the centre, we were in the centre, yeah.
Yeah, we were
right in the centre.
Right in the centre, yeah.
Well, my son works right in the centre in the Irish pub.
Beautiful city. No, I wouldn't know much of it now. I was only in it once, but you just mentioned Munich. My daughter lives up in Berlin.
The pub he works for is right in the centre.
Great, beautiful place.
You know.
So you've been around the world.
And
so
I'm as well known in Munich as I am here.
Isn't that amazing? Judy back tonight. So, like in a normal week, what would you do now? I know you do your bingo on Wednesday. What would your week consist of? Like you wouldn't be sitting in all the time. You'd be out.
No. Well, I do, and I go to another bingo up in Cherry Orchard. Prize bingo up there every Thursday evening.
Yeah.
And I go to a bingo on a Saturday in the Civic Centre.
Right.
I go to my club, old folks ladies club, down in, it's now in the Resource Centre, but it's belonged to the Ballyfermot Club.
Yeah, yeah.
But when that closed up, they had to get rooms somewhere. We were in the swimming pool at one stage, a room there. And now we're in the Resource Centre in a room down there on a Friday morning.
Well, that's great, and it gets you out for the hour or two, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because when the club closed, the club was a great place, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, it was fantastic. I think we all missed the club. But when the club closed, a lot of the old folks came around to Downey's. Now, do you go into Downey's now if a Monday night?
That's right, they go on a Monday night. But then...
Do you play bingo and there's a bit of music on?
Yeah, they have. But a friend of mine said she'll pick me up some Monday evening and bring me down.
And it's nice.
Because I don't go down...
Yeah.
You know, if I go down to the shops now with on my own, I had to use the walker.
Okay, yeah, it's a lot.
I used the walker to help me along, because otherwise I might get down all right.
And get back up.
But getting back again, it'd be another
see,
thing, you
fair
know.
play. You're a very busy woman, all right.
Yeah.
So that's how you keep yourself fit. You go most places you're out, and you go on holidays. And
I go, and I can use my walker. And
yeah.
During COVID now, either my daughter or granddaughter took me out. We'd go up to Phoenix Park, because you were away from everything. They'd pick me up and we'd drive up to Phoenix Park. I'd take my walker with me, and I'd walk 4 kilometres. Okay. No bother.
No problem.
You know, or my granddaughter took me out to Hoth. You know, when that was during COVID, and nobody, you weren't allowed to have people in. I know, but if you went out to an open space, that was fine.
Yeah, that was nice. Hoth is a lovely place to
and that's what kept me.
Yeah, fair play to you.
On my legs, otherwise you'd be sitting there all the time.
And the COVID didn't do anyone any good anyway, but thank God we all survived it so far. And it made a lot of people sick. But you look great. Thanks,
and I did get COVID. I got COVID. Last time I actually had it twice, but I did get COVID early last December. And that's affected my health a bit, because I've neither smell or taste since that. I've that long COVID thing that they talk about. But it just doesn't hold me back, like, you know.
No.
And I'd had a couple of spells in James's in 2021 and 22. 2019 I had a very slight stroke, and I was in for 2 nights in James's with that. But I got over that fine, but then I had other problems which I'd never had
until this COVID came along.
I'd never been in hospital in my life.
My God,
maybe as an outpatient for different little things, you know, but never been in hospital until 2019.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That was my course.
I'm going to look over her arm for a minute. What do you think of this woman? I know she's your mother, but she's unbelievable, isn't she?
She is. She's amazing.
Yeah. And what's your fondest memories of her now as a kid growing up? A lot of the things she used to do and this and that and the other. She was always busy, as you say, and going to meetings and helping the community. And because you were an active woman like that all your life, weren't you?
Oh yeah,
always were.
Always active.
She was always on her feet.
Yeah.
Never sitting down. If she wasn't out walking, she was baking, she was cooking.
She was doing something.
She was like, we had a tiny kitchen, but it was amazing what she made out of it.
My God, yeah. Yeah, she's an amazing woman.
She made our wedding cakes.
Did she? Yeah.
She made my wedding cake. She made Laura's wedding cake. She's made many wedding cakes.
I've made a few wedding cakes. Now they were the old type wedding cakes, your big fruit.
Yeah, the fruit one, yeah.
With the fruits, yeah.
Where did she get all her skills from?
Iced them.
My God, tonight she's unbelievable.
I just always had an interest in cooking because I just had a flair for it, like, you know.
Yeah.
And in my teenage years went to cookery classes in the technical school on the Crumlin Road.
I know.
And we lived in Drimna.
Oh.
And just went and
she made her own wedding cake.
Just enjoyed it. I made my own wedding cake back in 1957,
Amazing. She teaches a few tricks, wouldn't she?
Sure.
And I'm still baking. Now, during COVID, there was a lot of baking done. That was to keep me busy.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get out.
I know,
And I did a lot of baking, so they were all fattening up like on the cakes.
No harm. Keep them all happy. So, it's an amazing journey that you've been on, and all the years that you're there.
Yeah.
But as I said earlier on, you don't look 90 years of age. You've never seen a woman so fit.
But life is for living.
Life is for living. Enjoy it.
Life
and get on with
is
it.
for living.
Don't sit down.
Yeah.
Get out and walk and keep yourself fit. Which is great. And I'm just going to ask you another little question. Someone tells me that you're a fairly religious woman as well. You have a connection there with Our Blessed Lady.
Well, I don't get to Mass now. Mm-hmm. Well, I did until COVID came around, and then I stopped. But that doesn't stop me from saying my prayers. I have my rosary beads beside me and my prayer. Yeah. And I sit there in the evening time and I can say my prayers. Of course, they come in saying, oh, will you say a prayer for so-and-so, so-and-so sick, so-and-so's in hospital. And,
well, that's good.
And that's so
that's lovely.
I just do that. That's what I can do now, and that's what I do.
It's amazing, because when I'm looking at the photograph with your husband, this one, this is Con, isn't it? I see that you have a beautiful cross, and you have the feather.
I have these little rosary beads were hanging on it too. Look, the dirt of it.
No, but it's beautiful, And when you see little symbols like that in houses, you don't see them anymore. You don't even see holy water in people's houses anymore.
There's my holy water up on the mantelpiece.
I always have holy water
every night.
Yeah.
That's yours.
And it keeps us safe, Yeah. And it's always nice to bless somebody when they're coming or going from the house. And you say, people ask you to say a prayer. Well, that's nice, isn't it? You get a nice feel, and it's good to pray for them. I don't know what we're going to do with her at all. Does she sing a song for us? Do you think?
Oh, no. I don't think so.
Have you any brandy there? Yeah, I'm going into that. You have to tell us now about this. I don't want to be talking like this on the camera, This incident that happened to you years ago in Ballyfermot, where your photograph was put on a lamppost or something. Tell us about that.
Oh, well, that was...
I'll say it. You were up the pole.
I was up the pole when they were celebrating the 1916 down in the library.
Yeah.
And my mother was involved with the Come Them On in 1922, and they did posters of them, and they had them all up along the main road. And of course there was a picture of my mother and myself
up on the pole.
On the pole down outside Chasers at the bus stop there.
Oh, so that's where the story came from.
That's where that came from.
Well, that's a funny story, isn't it? It's laugh. I can't laugh and tell us that. The people then would say, oh, I saw your picture. Oh, I said, yeah, it's up the pole. Yeah.
And it just became a thing that it was I was up the pole.
That's gas, all right.
So
you're happy as laddie with your life now, and your health is good, and you're still getting out and about, and you're doing your own thing.
Yeah.
And back to bingo again now during the week for you. And
tomorrow, please God.
Yeah. And where will that be tomorrow?
Up in Liscarn Day Centre.
Aye. And will they give you a lift up, or will you have someone bring you?
My daughter will collect me at 1 o'clock, drop me up there, and come back at 3 o'clock for me.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah.
So
you see, all the good deeds pays off in the end, don't it? Well, she's an amazing woman to talk to. She's an amazing woman to talk to. Is there anything you want to tell me before we close this down? Have you any memories you want to talk about anything at all?
Well,
that you'd like to share with us?
I suppose there's a lot of things that used to go on and not going on anymore now. I spent many a holiday down in Cardiffstown. Have you heard? You've heard of Cardiffstown?
St Mary's used to bring them.
And we used to go down there for a week's holiday.
Yeah.
And enjoyed that, but that's closed up now.
It's gone. Yeah.
And then we had many a Christmas party
up in Coldcut.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
That's all gone.
Yeah.
And the police, the Gardaí used to run that with a committee.
Yeah.
And the Gardaí would be up there.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have great times, but that's all gone from us now, you know.
Yeah. It seems to be.
All that.
But again, and then with the Ballyfermot Club and all gone, like we have a lot of facilities in Ballyfermot, but they tell us that we have a huge civic centre there. There's loads of rooms there you can rent out and you can hire out, and you have like I know that the Ballyfermot Youth Service is doing a lot of work around here.
Oh,
Jerry
very
McCarthy,
much so, yeah.
Fair play to them.
Yeah.
But as I say, it's all the old stuff is all kind of gone away and it won't come back anymore.
Yeah.
And them the times that you could use say you're going to the cold cuts for the Christmas do and the police would help out, whatever.
Yeah.
And it'd be a great night and all the neighbours come together. And it's like a festival on Christmas that we're these things are dying out in a different way. They're not as the same as they were when we were, years ago, you know.
No.
And you just say, I wish some of them would come back. But when they go, don't they?
Ah, that's it,
and then
yeah.
when the halls get knocked down and new building gets put in.
Things change and that's the end of certain things and that's the way it goes.
Now, would you reckon, Aileen, Clifton Road, you're here since, 1962, would you reckon you're the oldest person on the road?
No.
No, is there somebody older?
No. Well, we have John Sweeney, John Sweeney.
He's in hospital at the moment, John, yeah.
Yeah.
We know John very well, a great friend of ours.
John Sweeney.
Yeah.
He was here even before me.
Yeah, he's the corner.
Which we had many holidays with him and his wife.
Yeah, lovely
We
man.
went on holidays with them.
Uh-huh.
And as I say, there's a couple of the houses where the families of the original people are living in their family homes.
Right, yeah.
Like Brian next door.
Yeah.
I've known Brian growing up all his life and John Martin across the way.
John, yeah.
And the Baileys, there's one of the girls in that house. And Teresa Wade, she's grew up over there too. So we have a couple of them.
It's great to see the family staying in the family home if it would be possible,
in the family homes, yeah.
Because the family home is somewhere that you can come and visit. It'll always be there once there's family in it. And like my mother's home now, my nephew lives in our family home. So he'll continue on keeping the Coleman name going. When his sons will take that over or whatever, or their grandchildren or whatever. But it's great to see the family staying there. But come here, let's tell you, it's been great talking with you, Aileen. And thanks again. Problem. And we hope that the people looking in will have there's a lot of knowledge going out in that little interview, and we had a bit of a laugh as well.
We had.
And thanks to Anne for setting us all up for us, Anne. You're very kind.
There's another of my hobbies too.
We appreciate that. And you have another hobby as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what are you doing? Yeah, online? No.
Scrabble.
Oh, you do the Scrabble?
I do Scrabble every night.
Yeah.
I play Scrabble.
There you go. Isn't it? Against the many different things people do. You wouldn't think they should play Scrabble.
I play Scrabble and many other things.
She's on Facebook. She does WhatsApp.
Yeah, fair play to her.
Yeah.
So you're doing your Scrabble online?
Well, I do that every night. It's not on this, the pictures. I was going to show you some pictures to be on my phone.
It's not that one.
That didn't come through. It doesn't come through on the iPad.
Doesn't it?
No.
It's probably only on your phone. Yeah.
It's only on my phone.
Yeah, well, come here. We'll leave her at that with you. And we look forward to trying to make the video, and he'll have it out in a couple of days, I suppose, and a bit of music and that. And it'll be nice to watch and to have on. Again, thanks very much to both of you.
You're more than
on behalf of the Heritage team, that we're delighted to be able to interview people and come into their homes. So, and the best of luck to you. And please God, we come to interview you when you're 99.
Well, as she said when she was 90, I hope to see us all in 10 years' time.
And she's still here. Yeah.
So
that's great. So thanks very much, Aileen. And thanks.
When I was at the hospital the other week, and the doctor said, "Come back in 12 months."
Yeah.
And I said, "If I'm around."
Yeah.
And he said, "You'll be around."
Pretty sure
so
you will, yeah.
He must have been happy with what he'd seen.
Without a doubt, yeah. That's great. That was interesting. Yeah.